So today I'll be doing a video discussing the strongest of all, because the power scaling in Fairy Tail, it's starting to get overpowered, and we need to discuss who is the strongest character in Fairy Tail, because they have been introducing so many overpowered and so much stronger characters that the whole power scaling of Fairy Tail, it's starting to get up there in terms of anime strength. Like, we can start comparing them to up their series like Naruto, One Piece, or any of the other series that people like use for versus battles, because the characters are getting that strong. So today I want to do a video discussing all of the top tier characters and finally labeling which one is the strongest of all, because Fairy Tail has a lot of top tier characters, and I know that the power scaling can get confusing for a lot of people. To this day, people always ask me who I think is the strongest character, and today I'm going to be laying out all the choices and telling you guys who I think is the strongest. So sit back, relax, grab some chips, because it's going to be a long video because we got a lot of characters to discuss, starting off with END Natsu. Now listen, Natsu fanboys, don't hate me for this, but END might be a little bit overrated. Now hear me out. END, we all know the potential that he has. He's been getting hyped up to be the only person who could defeat Zeref in his immortal form besides Acnologia, and that's some pretty high praise, because Zeref was pretty much the strongest mage in Fairy Tail in the whole series besides Acnologia. So to be able to defeat him goes to show you how strong END is, and I actually believe he can defeat Zeref if they did fight, obviously, because Zeref created END just to be able to defeat him. And we also know that it's said that Acnologia does fear END. Now this could be taken any way you want to take it, because Igneo said it, Zeref said it, but Acnologia was like, I don't fear anybody. So it's really one of those quotes where you just take it up for grabs, where you're like, oh, END, his power. Definitely, you can't take this quote with a grain of salt. The fact that Igneo and Zeref said it, that definitely does mean that this quote holds some weight, but that doesn't mean that Natsu is automatically, END Natsu is automatically as strong as Acnologia, because I'm going to discuss the things that Acnologia did, and let's just say that he didn't do any pushover things, but to be able to be compared to Acnologia, that is also big news too. But we saw, for the most part, once END did begin to start fighting, he was on par with Devil Slayer Gray. Now, Devil Slayer Gray, don't get me wrong, he is by no means a pushover, but I don't think that he's up there with Acnologia and Zeref. He's definitely top tier, but the fact that Gray was able to be on par with Natsu's END form goes to show you that he wasn't necessarily as strong as everybody was saying him to be, like Acnologia level, but he was still strong enough to take out somebody like Zeref, which was why I think that if we got to see Natsu's END power at full strength, because mind you, we never got to see him master his END power. That's the spooky part, the fact that we never got to see him master it. So I believe that if he got to master all the way through, he would have became super strong, but from what we've seen of END, I can't put him as the strongest of all. However, with Natsu's new God power up, yes, you heard me right, with his new God power up, this is what makes Natsu stand near the top of the totem pole, because we saw with his Dragon God power up, he was able to take out the Water Dragon God. Now this was huge news, just because this was the first time we got to see a water, or not even a water god, but just a dragon god in action, and Natsu, he was able to take him out. So I definitely do have to say that that was a dope moment. However, the god, he was not at full power, so obviously Natsu still does have a long way to go, but with this dragon god power, this is clearly his new quote-unquote END power up. I believe this is going to be the replacement for the END power up. He gets the black markings, he just looks dope. He looks very demonish, very END like, so I do think that this will be the perfect replacement for it, not only for looks but for the power too. And I do believe that once Natsu does finally learn how to control the dragon god power, he will be one of the strongest of all. But we're going to keep it in the family, because next we're going to discuss Fairy Heart Zeref. And after Zeref's defeat, he's been getting disrespected a lot. A lot of people are saying that he's not one of the strongest, he's not as strong. And as the leader of the Zeref fan club, I just have to say, everybody relax, because Fairy Heart Zeref, he was truly overpowered. We saw that he had the ability to control time and space itself, and he demonstrated it perfectly when he fixed the Fairy Tail Guild. Yeah, Zeref, he actually fixed the Fairy Tail Guild after Natsu destroyed it, with just his magic alone. So that goes to show you how he was able to manipulate time. And I know there's a lot of people that says, oh well, if he's so strong, how was he able to be defeated by Natsu? But the thing is that Hiro Mashima, he did a good job at showing Natsu and Zeref's difference. Like obviously Natsu, he inherited the physical strength from his family, meanwhile Zeref, he inherited like the knowledge and, you know, the understanding of magic from his side of the family. So they're kind of like the yin and yang. Zeref lacked the physical power, while Natsu obviously lacked, you know, the knowledge to learn all these different spells. But regardless of the fact, they did demonstrate how both of those differences did come in handy for both of the characters, and Zeref's lack of power is what basically lost him the fight. And because we saw Natsu, he used the power of the dragons, and it's already been stated that dragons, they do not look up to gods. So I do think that was great writing on how Zeref was actually defeated. But the fact that he killed Natsu prior to his defeat, that's what everybody forgets. Like, yeah, Zeref literally killed Natsu. If it wasn't for Lucy reviving him, he would have been dead as a doorknob. So he killed Natsu with one shot while he had like his full power and everything. Natsu wasn't at a disadvantage or anything. So I definitely do have to say that Zeref, he is very strong. And we saw he was going to go all the way back in time and fight Acte Logia again with Fairy Heart. So that just goes to show you that he had a lot of confidence in his power to go back and want to basically redo the whole timeline with the power of Fairy Heart. Goes to show you that he was very strong. And Acte Logia said it himself, and everybody in the Spirigon 12 said it themselves. Once he did get the power of Fairy Heart, he would be able to rival Zeref, and he definitely did not disappoint. But Zeref's main rival, Acte Logia, we know that he is still very overpowered, and not just the regular Acte Logia. I'm talking about the time-lapse Acte Logia. And that's basically after he absorbed the time-lapse, aka fairy tale versions of a black hole. And this was Acte Logia's tipping point when it comes to power, because number one, the time-lapse was basically said to be, if any mage touched it, they would be turned into nothing. It is literally the realm of nothingness, and the fact that Acte Logia was able to eat his way out of the realm of nothingness is super overpowered. But once he got that ability, we saw that he split his mind and his body to fight everybody. Like Acte Logia, he was literally just a punching bag for the whole fairy tale world, because he took on all 7 of the dragon slayers, all of them at once. He was able to defeat all of them. Obviously we know Natsu, he was the one that had to use all 7 powers of the dragon slayer in order to take him out. But while we saw he was being able to fight the 7 dragon slayers, we saw that his dragon form was fighting the whole magic world, the whole guild world. They were all teaming up on Acte Logia. So he literally was fighting everybody simultaneously. One battle he took to a different realm in his mind with his human body, the other one that he took to the physical world with his dragon body. So I definitely do have to say that Acte Logia, we never got to see him at full power. That's the thing. So I definitely do have to say that he is looking very hype. If we would have got to see him actually use the time lapse and actually learn how to master it, because the fact that he was able to, you know, obviously make a whole new realm showed you that he had a pretty decent control of the power, but he never really got to train with it and, you know, maximize it to the fullest. And we obviously know that he did kill many dragons and many dragon slayers. He's responsible for the death of Irene, and he's responsible for the death of God Serena. So I definitely do have to say that Acte Logia, he does have a pretty good track record when it comes to killing people. But the spookiest thing was we saw that he created the Holy Pentadrakes. Yes, you heard it here first. Out of fear, the Holy Pentadrakes were created because Acte Logia, he terrorized them while they were younger, to a point where they all ran away and had to go to a whole separate island and trade. Like, Acte Logia, he really is a huge threat in the series, and it got to a point where Ignia wanted to test himself against Acte Logia. So that goes to show you how strong Acte Logia is. The fact that one of the dragon gods wanted to fight Acte Logia, he's like, think about that. That's like a god coming to fight you if you were just one of the strong warriors. Like, that goes to show you that Acte Logia, to this day, he was still being respected by some of these stronger opponents. And speaking of Ignia, I have to discuss him because this is one of the newer and stronger characters in the series, and I am fully hyped for him because he is the fire dragon god and the official son of Igneo. Now, if we know anything about those two titles, number one, fire dragon god, he looks like Igneo, so you know he's going to be hyped. But the son of Igneo, you know he's going to have crazy power, because we saw how strong Igneo was. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Ignia, Natsu would not have a new dragon power-up. So that right there goes to show you how strong he is. Natsu got his power-ups from Ignia's flames. So yeah, Ignia is definitely going to be very overpowered. And we see that he wanted to fight Acnologia one-on-one, no friends, no nothing. He even mocked Natsu for wanting to fight with his friends. So Ignia, he definitely is looking like he's hyped up. He's looking like to be one of the stronger characters. And I definitely do think he's ranked on the higher scale when it comes to the Holy Pentadrakes, just because he was even talking down on Mercuphobia. He was looking at Natsu like, yo, you're really losing to this guy of all people. So Ignia, he is looking super hype, and I cannot wait to see him go at full power. This is the son of Igneel, and this is the fire dragon god. He definitely is looking hype, and this is Natsu's big brother. Now, I'm gonna keep this one short, but I want to discuss Igneel just because Igneel, we got robbed of never being able to see him in his prime. Yes, Igneel at full power, he was looked at as the king of dragons. He was respected by all the dragons, and that goes to show you that he was very overpowered. Yeah, if you are getting respect by every single dragon, because think about it, dragons, they were going around killing humans and everything, and yet they all listened to Igneel. They acknowledged him as the king of dragon. That goes to show you how strong he is. We even seen Grandini, she obeyed him. So Igneel, he definitely is one of the strongest characters in his prime, and I do believe that if we got to see him in his prime, he would definitely be a candidate for the strongest of all. Now, we're gonna end it off with some new school vibes. Yes, we're gonna throw in Toka, just because I know a lot of people, they hate Toka over her relationship with Lucy. Whether you hate her or not, whether you want her to get with Natsu or not, you can't deny the fact that she is overpowered. She is compared to Zeref, and this is the first time that we've ever seen a wizard being compared to Zeref. Yeah, the only person that we've ever seen being compared in terms of strength was Acnologia, but she's up there because of her lore, because of her magic power and everything. So this is going to be very big news. Some people are saying that she's going to be like the female version of Zeref. I don't know if she's going to be that strong. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it if she's going to be that strong, because she's looking OP, but we also do know that she stole Mercuphobia's power. Yeah, the reason why the water dragon god wasn't at full power was because of her, because she was able to take his power. That is why she basically handicapped Mercuphobia. Now she has the water power herself, and we've seen her actually use it on some of the Fairy Tail Guild members. Even Juvia wasn't able to do anything against her. So that goes to show you how strong her water magic is. She defeated the whole Fairy Tail Guild minus the main ones like Natsu, Urza, Gray, and Lucy, but you know, that's still not a pushover thing to do. So that goes to show you that Toka, when it comes to fighting skills, she definitely does have it. But I love the arrogance that she's also displaying, because she's going on the 100-year quest and searching for Natsu and the others like it's nothing. You know, everybody there is hyping up the 100-year quest like, oh, this is the biggest and baddest quest ever, and yet we have somebody like Toka who's able to go and just go on it like it's nothing. So this just goes to show you that she is very confident in her strength, and she's looking very overpowered. And with the ability to steal magic, I honestly don't doubt how strong Toka is. I think she's definitely going to be one of the strongest characters. She's being compared to Zeref, everything. She's stealing dragons powers. Like, yo, Toka, whether you love her or hate her, you definitely can't deny that she is very overpowered. And the last mortal that I'm going to discuss is the newest Dragon Slayer that has been revealed, and everybody is going to be hyped up for him, George Ryzen. Now, this is the leader of the 5th generation Dragon Slayers, and this is hype news just because we've never seen a character like this. Like, we see him, he's basically like, yo, I can't eat any more regular food. He only wants to kill dragons, and Hiro Mashima is doing a good job at building up his character, because we know that he's already killed many dragons. You can just see from the scars on his body, everything, and he's not even interested in fighting regular dragons anymore. Yeah, he only wants to fight the Holy Pentadrakes now. So this goes to show you that George Ryzen is going to be very strong, and Hiro Mashima, all I'm asking is that you do not fumble it with George Ryzen. And the only reason why I'm being superstitious is because he looks way too much like Jienba, in my personal opinion. Well, not too much like him, but he just reminds me of him a little bit, you know, just because this is like a buff character that the second one that he drew in, and we know that Jienba didn't really end out too good. But no, in all seriousness, we know that George Rising, being the leader of the 5th generation Dragon Slayers, he has to be strong, because we saw what the 5th generation Dragon Slayers were doing to the main cast of Fairy Tail. They were pushing them back with ease. Like, yeah, we saw that they was able to put up a good fight. And even Kyra, she was like, yo, I still want to fight them some more. So George Rising, do not sleep on him, because he definitely has killed many dragons in the series, and he definitely can be the strongest of all. And me personally, I definitely do think he has potential to be Natsu's teacher, just because Natsu, he is going to have to learn new techniques in order to fight the Holy Pentadrakes. So what better person would be to learn from somebody that has killed many dragons? And last but not least, you guys heard me, I said we was going to discuss the final mortal, but now I have to discuss the one and only God Ankh-Sram. And to be honest, this is the one god in Fairy Tail that I fear the most when it comes to strength, because he is super overpowered. I definitely do think that Hiro Mashima, he will end up reaching him in terms of writing, just because he's already been written into the story so many times. We see he was the person that cursed Zeref and Mavis, and they were unable to break that curse to death. So the fact that Hiro Mashima has been hyping up God Ankh-Sram this whole time definitely leads me to believe that he will actually be in the story at some time. And the fact that he was able to curse these two goes to show you his strength and how strong he is. Now, the $1 million question, I know you guys must be thinking, underrated mage, who do you think out of all of these fighters, who is the strongest of all? Now, I'm going to split this up into two parts. Number one, if we're talking about just all the characters from, like, you know, just enlisted at down below, I would definitely say that my bet will have to go with Acton Logia, just because from what we've seen with him, he was the most strongest. Like, he was fighting multiple people, took on all different types of guilds at one point. He didn't really get to have a single one-on-one fight, and when he did, he one-shot at God Sarita. And we also know that he was fighting separately, like 2 major battles at the same time. That is super impressive. So just imagine if he actually didn't split up his body and he actually was all in one conscious and fought them all together. Yeah, Acton Logia, he would have definitely been a problem. And the fact that the Holy Pentadrakes, they're still, you know, they were basically trying to compare themselves to him. They were basically modeling themselves after Acton Logia. Goes to show you the type of impact that Acton Logia had. And he was also able to defeat Igneo. So we saw during the battle, a lot of people, they were like, oh, Igneo wasn't at full power. Well, Acton Logia said it himself that he could have ended it a while ago. So Acton Logia, me personally, I definitely do believe that he is the strongest of all that we've seen so far. But if we're talking about potentially for the characters that could, like, obviously be strong, the strongest of all at the end of the series, EOS, then I'm going to have to go with Natsu's dragon form, because I believe that the dragon god Natsu, he will be the strongest character, because he's going to be somebody that took out Ignea, because I do believe he'll finally surpass Ignea. And then once he finally does defeat Ignea, the only person that will be standing in his way will be God Ankh-Sram. And me personally, I do believe that Natsu, he will eventually end up taking him out. He's nowhere near God Ankh-Sram's level right now, but once he finally does master his dragon form, I definitely do think he'll be able to take him out. So overall, the strongest of all, if we're going for my final rankings, I'm definitely saying God Ankh-Sram. He's a god, so, you know, obviously he's the strongest. But from the mortals, I would go Acton Logia is the strongest character that we've seen in the series. And then out of potentially, I definitely do think that Natsu, he can reach that title of the strongest of all. Comment what you guys see down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace out.